everybody, welcome back to Healthyish Recipes. I'm Cynthia. Today's recipe is going to be Impossible cheeseburger pie. You may have heard of it before. It's famous. Bisquick, of course, has made it famous. It's always on the back of their packaging, and you can find it there or go anywhere and Google it and you can find it. Difference is I use the same measurements as Bisquick recommends, but I add different ingredients just to kick it up a notch. So what we're going to do is we are going to start with frying the ground beef, or actually ground meat of your choice. You can use ground turkey. I mean, technically you could use ground pork, ground chicken, anything that you want to do, even venison. But today we're going to do a pound of ground beef. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to turn on my heating element. I'm going to cut open my beef. Don't mind the packaging. I buy bulk and then I vacuum seal all my meat and freeze it in the deep freezer. So, come on. There we go. All right. Get that to the side because it's messy. So yeah, what you do, I'm gonna just go ahead and explain to you what you do with this recipe. It's easy. The biggest thing is you fry this and then you're gonna bake it once you get all the ingredients together. But what I like to do is pretty much every week we have Taco Tuesday. My 10-year-old loves tacos. We have it guaranteed at least once a week. And then sometimes I always have leftovers because I'll make like a pound or 2 pounds for my family. And we always have leftover ground beef. Now, for my taco meat, I put in taco seasonings and other things, but it actually will just increase the flavor, make the recipe even better. So, but that's what I do, is I already have the meat already cooked because it's leftover from Taco Tuesday. And then bing, bang, boom, you can go ahead and start the recipe from the point where you mix everything together and pop it in the oven. So, since today is Friday, Cynthia didn't have leftover taco meat, so we're cooking this from the beginning. But it's really, really cool to cut some steps when you do have leftovers. I don't know about you, but I like having ideas for leftovers, especially ground beef. That seems to be, one of the hardest things to come up with new stuff to cook with leftovers. And I always have leftovers. All right. So we're going to let this fry until it's browned, and then we'll come back to you, okay? All right, we are back, and the hamburger is all fried up and browned, okay? While that's cooling, we're gonna start making the Impossible pie part, okay? I'm doubling this recipe because I like to make 2 9-inch round pie pans, plates, and make 2 pies. If I'm gonna go through the trouble, I might as well have 2 for leftovers for lunch the next day. Am I right? Yes. Okay, the hamburger's nice and browned up. While it's sitting over there cooling down and chilling out, we're gonna make the Impossible pie part of it, okay? So I am doubling the recipe. So let me just verbally tell you right now what's in the recipe. 2 pounds of ground meat if you're doubling it. You're gonna use 1 cup of Bisquick or other baking mixes similar to Bisquick if you don't have that. You're also going to you need 2 cups of milk, 6 eggs, and all the little seasonings that we put in, and I'm going to go over that because there's a lot of things that you can do to this recipe to make it your own, whatever you like. I like tomatoes, you might not like tomatoes, okay? And also 2 cups of cheese to this. All right, so let's start off with our eggs because we're gonna crack those in the bowl and get them all whisked up and go from there. 6 eggs a cracking. fresh eggs. All right. Just break them up a little bit. All right. To the 6 eggs, we're going to add 2 cups of milk. And like I said, this recipe is going to give us 2 9-inch pie plates. Ooh. Now, if you're new here, I'm a klutz. I'm messy, but I always clean up my messes. All right? Okay. So there's the egg, and I drop that. Okay. So to the egg and milk mixture, I'm going to add 1 cup of Bisquick, or like I said, any of your baking mixes. There's generic ones out there. And I'm going to toss that in. And just stir it up, mix it up, mix it up. And it doesn't have to be lump-free. Believe me, I've cooked this enough over the years that you're not going to get all the lumps out, and it really doesn't matter. It will cook and become more homogeneous during the baking. So there's the mixture, okay? Now, I'm going to set that aside. Let me put that right there. And I'm going to bring back the ground beef, okay? Because what Bisquick's recipe, this is where mine departs from the official Bisquick recipe, is I like loaded hamburgers. So I like ketchup, mustard, spices and seasonings and so on and so forth. So that's what we're going to do, is going to add all of that here. All right, so this is where I'm going to add my little secret ingredients, but no longer a secret. I'm just going to sprinkle on salt and pepper. You could have done that at the beginning of the, as you're cooking this, but it's not necessary. So salt and pepper to taste, whatever you like. I also have a little bit, like a half teaspoon of Mrs. Dash seasoning, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder. All right, stick with me. This is where it gets weird, but it's not weird. I have a tablespoon of mustard, because who doesn't like mustard on your cheeseburger? And then I have 1/8 of a cup of ketchup, and that's gonna go in here, okay? So I know it sounds weird, it looks weird, but it's good. It's actually better than good. This recipe is actually one of my husband's favorite recipes that I have improved upon. I've probably been cooking Bisquick Impossible hamburger pie for 20 years, maybe even more. When I was a kid, maybe even. All right, so that's all mixed in. So you're gonna divide out, we're gonna bring in the pie plates, and you're gonna divide 1 pound into 1. You go ahead and put that on the bottom. Let's see if I'm good at evening. There we go. And you just spread it on the bottom of the pie plates. And then at this point, you're going to take your 2 cups of cheese, 1 cup to each plate, and just sprinkle it over. Eyeball it. It's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be exact. Maybe a little bit over here. Boom. All right. that that's there, you take this, the magic, this is where the magic happens, and you're gonna pour half and half. And this is where I usually make messes. It's alright, because we always clean up our mess, don't we? Unless you're my husband. No. He cleans up after him. I know in one of my other videos I said that he likes to cook for us, which he does, and he doesn't do the cleaning. I wanted to correct that because he saw the video and didn't like that comment. He said, I clean up after myself. But I'm telling you, he doesn't clean as good as Mama does. Alright. Wipe my hands. Alright. So, I'm just gonna make sure everything's covered. Although when it bakes, it puffs up, it's gonna cover everything. Just clean up a little bit of the edge because that will kind of scorch. Alright, once you're to this point, here's another addition that I do. I like tomatoes on my hamburger, so I already sliced up a nice big beefsteak tomato. And we're gonna make it look pretty. And hopefully I have enough tomato slices, because did I bother to ensure that I have enough? No. That's what Cynthia does. I wing it. I wing it like I wing my eyeliner. See, that one's not the perfect little slice, but you can forgive me. No, I really do like, my husband always pokes fun at me, good-naturedly, that, oh, here's that nice pretty slice. They were sticking together, so we'll put that one there. Though it's nice and pretty. Yeah, my husband always teases me because I take so much time with the presentation. He's like, come on. It's just us. It's just a Tuesday night. Why are you making it look pretty? And I tell him that we feast with our eyes first, our senses, our smell, our eyes. It's very important for your food to look pretty and appetizing, because yes, I'll eat it if it doesn't look pretty, but you can't tell me if it looks gorgeous that it does not increase your pleasure with the actual dish. That's my philosophy, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm going to reach over here, and I like to sprinkle everything bagel seasoning, which you can get this at Trader Joe's. You can get this at Aldi's. This happens to be Aldi's because did you know that Aldi's and Trader Joe's are sisters? Yes. They came from the same mother company back in Germany. I learned this a couple years ago. So this would remind you of, when you have a hamburger, you got the ketchup and the mustard and the tomatoes. Well, this is the bun, the everything bagel bun that you're using for your hamburger. So I look at it like that. So I just sprinkle, of course, again, to your liking, the amount. But, it has sesame seeds, which, boom, on your hamburger buns, you have sesame. It has poppy. It has garlic, and it has a little bit of salt, so perfect. So this is what it looks like. We're going to pop it in a 400-degree oven, and it's going to bake for 30 minutes, okay? So I'm going to go slide these into the oven, and I'll see you back in 30 minutes, okay? All right, 30 minutes later, and we have 2 Impossible cheeseburger pies, fully loaded. Aren't they beautiful? When they come out of the oven, they're a little puffy and they will shrink down a little bit. All right, I sliced up a piece of the Impossible hamburger pie. I just wanted to show you. As you can see, the hamburger's on the bottom. I don't know how good you can see. The hamburger's on the bottom, and then you have the fluffy, cheesy Impossible pie part. And remember how I said I like things to look visually beautiful or cool, and this is usually how I serve it up to my family. Obviously, we're going to have sides because this is not all one meal in one pan, but I usually serve it up with like a side salad and some broccoli on the side, and it's really good. But I usually zigzag the ketchup and mustard just to make it look pretty. All right. Let let me go ahead and try a bite, although I do know what it tastes like. Yep, see, it's nice and fluffy. There's the meat on there, and it's nice and fluffy and probably hot. Yep, tastes like a hamburger in a pie. Perfect. All right, to recap our recipe, our Bisquick Impossible Pie that's been tweaked a little to my tasting. Hopefully you'll be able to make this and tweak it to your liking too. I doubled the recipe, so if you want the single recipe, if you only want to use it, just cut what I'm telling you in half. It's going to be 1 cup of Bisquick. It's going to be 2 cups of milk, 6 eggs, 2 cups of cheese, salt and pepper to taste, and whatever spices and seasoning you like. And you fry up the hamburger and brown it. Then you make the filling, which is the Bisquick, 1 cup, and the milk, 2 cups. Whisk that all together. Put the cheese over the hamburger. Pour the Bisquick mixture over, and we sliced up tomatoes and made it look nice and pretty. And I also put everything bagel on top. Pop it in the oven, cook at 400 degrees for 30 minutes, and then boom, you have the not so impossible pie. It's really easy to make. I hope you try it and let me know what you think about it if you do. Okay, that's it for today. So thank you for joining me, Corinthia, on Healthyish Recipes. I hope you tune in to our next video. Not sure what it's going to be. If you have any suggestions for me, just drop it down below in the comments. Let me know if you try the recipe and what you think. And don't forget to like this video if you like it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe if you wish. All right, we'll see you next time on Healthyish Recipes.